Have you ever been curious about the structure of your district? This is something that a lot of scout leaders may never even think about. Hey, ScouterStan. There is a lot of similarities between a district and your own unit's committee. There's a lot of similarities there, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. There's tons of information about the district. The whole subject today came up. Rick, as you see here, Rick actually asked the question. He's thinking about going into some district stuff and doesn't know where or what any of it is about. And we're just going to go over some of that structure. But it's amazing how similar it is. Now, the district committee chairman is in charge of most of the activities within the committee. But all too often, that is also supported through the paid staff, through an executive. So you have a district executive that's also involved. And then you have your district commissioner, who has the commissioner corps that is actually doing unit service. So that's the key three when you're looking at a district. Now, districts are smaller parts of a council, just like the state versus a county. You know, it has different pieces. The council will have many different districts. They might have as little as 2. There's some that have 30. So a variety of different district sizes, different locations, different populations. So it's really determined by council what a district is and what it services. Now, there are 4 groups. That's the best way to think of it. There are 4 groups of activities that a committee in the district level is concerned with. The 4 groups are membership, fund development, program, and of course unit service. Now, membership has many different facets, but its primary goal is to make sure that new members go into existing units, and new units are created to facilitate the need for members to join. That's the wonderful thing about membership. It has many different facets. Now, fund development, this is something that the district takes on to help out the council. The council will have fundraisers that they will have for the units to participate in. Fundraising can also be for the actual council. Keep in mind, we're a nonprofit organization of volunteers, and there is expenses, and that's one of the things that is important to keep in mind. Program. That's really where, as they used to say, the rubber hits the road. It is all of the camping, it's all of the facilities, it's all of the training, it's all of those things that are involved in that. We're going to talk about individual departments also. Now, finally, it is the unit services. The function there is through commissioners, and that is a huge thing. And of the 4 big departments, there are many different departments within it, and every district is different. Some districts don't have certain things. Some districts don't need certain things. This is all up to the district. But of those 4 core things, there are many of the things that go on. You'll always have commissioners. You'll always have program. You'll always have membership. You'll always have funding. These are things those are the core elements. Now, before we go any further, I do want to invite you to our monthly meeting. It's on the first Sunday of each month, and it's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So you're more than welcome to join us and ask questions and just have fun. You know, that's one of those wonderful things about that meeting. I also want to thank everybody on Patreon for their continued support of our channel. and our channel members. You can be a channel member. You hit the join button and join up. There's all kinds of badges and emojis and different things. They even get the videos exclusively for themselves, ad-free, which is an added bonus. And then, of course, if you don't want to join in and do a monthly donation, you could always do a one-time donation by hitting the thanks button. So get involved. I really do appreciate all that you do in scouting and here on the channel. Now let's talk a little bit about the different departments within the district. The district has these 4 basic groups. Now there's different things in those groups. Now we talked about membership. Membership has different groups also. So one of the big ones is advancement. Now a lot of people will say that's program, but it's actually listed as being part of membership. Advancement is a huge thing when you're dealing with youth. So there's usually an advancement chair for your district that handles all the Eagle stuff and handles all the awards and does all those things. That is a critical position for your district. And being that way, it is part of membership, making sure your membership is recognized for their achievements. That's the real key thing about advancement. Now the recruitment chair is another part of membership. The recruitment chair is like the one that does the school nights and does the schoolroom visits, you name it. There's a lot to be done with recruitment, and it should be done year round. That is, if it's done right, it should be done all the time. And units need to be into that. That's a critical thing. Recruiting all year round is a major. In fact, I have a video. Go ahead and look at that later on. It'll be there all the way through to the end. And look at that video. It'll tell you a little bit about recruitment. Now the next big one is program. Program has several divisions. Camping is huge. It is a major part, going out and using the facilities of your council. Camping needs to be promoting that. And in that regard, there also is the Order of the Arrow that falls within the camping parameters. That is an actual position. The chapter chief and the chapter advisor for your district is actually members of the district committee. Now with that, you also have communications, and that could be anything from maintaining a mailing list for an email that goes out. It could be different things going on as far as emails that could be sent out individually. There are a lot of social media stuff. A lot of districts have Facebook pages and Instagram and all the, you name it, okay? There's stuff out there that districts are using, and that all has to do with communications. Now, another big department of this is, of course, training. Training is a huge thing about program. We need to make sure that every scout deserves a trained leader. That is a saying that you'll hear a lot in scouting. That is one of those things that we need to make sure is done. Now, training can be different things. It can be specific to what you are doing for that position, or it could be things like youth protection training, or hazardous weather, or climb on safety, or swim, and you name it. There's a lot of different training that goes on, and we need to make sure that in program that is done correctly, and of course kept up to date. That's really important. Now in fund development, that has a lot to do with the finances. That could be something that comes from council. There could be fundraisers, and we're talking thousands of dollars that are actually fronted for the benefit of the youth, to sell popcorn or do camp cards or different things that are out there that a lot of different councils do. The council relies on the district to have some type of management to kind of coalesce all the training and to make sure that everything's kept consistent, that's very important as far as fundraising. That is very important. We're all volunteers. None of us are paid. We don't make a thing. And the thing is that we need to make sure that the lights stay on at the Scout office, and those come through donations and through fundraising. And making sure that that's managed well is important. Now, another big department of that is what we call Friends of Scouting, or FOS. And a lot of different councils do it differently. So some councils do presentations with units. Some they just use the funding through their membership fees. There's a lot of ways to do that. But a district might be called upon to actually have somebody do that, whether it be phone solicitation to people that have already donated to Scouting, to kind of keep the funding going. This is a huge thing for Scouting, to make sure that we stay nonprofit and we make sure that we move forward with our Scout movement. Finally, the fourth big one is, of course, unit service. And we talked briefly about unit commissioners and how they help units grow, and they help with issues. They help with solving problems. That is huge for unit commissioners. And they get to enjoy all the nice things that come back, seeing the youth succeed. They get to go to these boards of review. They get to go to different things for the unit. That is so big. Courts of honor and stuff like that. It's huge. It does the soul good to do some unit commissioner work. Working with the best leaders and solving problems is very rewarding, all to itself, and then of course you get to see all the results from the success of the unit. That is just, it's phenomenal. Okay, so unit service is very important. And then of course you have Roundtable. Roundtable commissioners are huge. That's another big thing about service to the units. Unit service is a critical part, and most of that is commissioners, and that's why you have a district commissioner that handles a lot of that department. So there's a lot of things you can get involved in the district. Now keep this in mind. This is just some ideas, some structures. Every place is going to be different. They're going to model it according to what they need. They're going to have different departments, different chair people that are going to do things, and the chairman's going to be there and helping out. And there's so many different facets to this. But like I said earlier, unit commissioners are so needed and so important. That is critical to start doing that. That's the thing I recommend for a district. You'll find a niche that you fit in perfectly. So that's the nice thing about unit commissioners. They get to go to the committee meetings. And anyone can go to the committee meetings, by the way. Committee meetings are open to the entire district. So if you're in that district, you can go to it. So you may not have a vote, you may not have a say, but you can see what's going on, and you might be able to help out. So that's an option. Definitely check that out. And the structure of it is different. It depends on where you are. But the core values, the key three, and those three big functions, the big four functions that are in it, the key three and the four functions, those are pretty consistent. But all the different departments, that can be as needed. And as you know, Scouting is highly organized chaos, and we try to minimize it as much as possible. But that's the neat thing. And a lot of districts, they don't have a lot of chaos. It's successful. It works. That's the beautiful thing. And keeping all of that in mind, get involved. You are a huge benefit to Scouting. We need you. We need you. We need you to be a unit commissioner too. But this is something that getting involved, doing these things, being on that committee, Those are important things. And I personally thank you so much for everything you do in scouting. Keep up the hard work, and I'll see you on the trail.